Some of mine.
Good evening, everybody.
Recording in progress.
I'll call to order the regular board meeting of the Batavia Public Library District for Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. Mary Ann, would you call the roll?
Galata, Deachman, Ford. Here. Hubbard. Here. Larson. Here. Russo.
Here.
Fasano. Here.
Thank you, Mary Ann. And Elizabeth, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and number 4 on our agenda is comments from the audience. Would anyone here or online like to speak to us today? No. Okay. Then moving on, number 5. Would someone like to make a motion to approve or amend the agenda?
I move that we approve the agenda as stated.
Second.
So a motion by Trustee Fasano and a second by Trustee Hubbard. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the agenda is approved. We have 2 things on our consent agenda this evening. It is the May 21st, 2024 regular board meeting minutes and the financials for May 2024. Would someone like to make a motion to approve or remove something from the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda as stated.
And I second.
So a motion by Trustee Larson and a second by Trustee Ford. We need a roll call for this. So Mary Ann, would you?
Galata, Deachman, Ford. Aye. Hubbard. Aye. Larson.
Aye.
Russo.
Aye.
Fasano. Aye.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Number 7 on our agenda, approve the general use policy.
So on page 25 is the final draft for the general use policy. There are just a few minor additions or changes that are highlighted in yellow that have been added since the COW meeting, just to clarify a few things. Other than that, it's the same as what we presented. And this policy is going to cover all of the circulation information and how to apply for a library card. It will reflect the rules and et cetera for being fine-free and lost or damaged materials, interlibrary loan, a lot of things related to circulation. And then it also touches upon use of public computers and behavior and security in the library, referring people to our longer, more extended policies on those topics. So it's kind of a general policy about library use. And this will replace all of our current, we have like several single policies on different circulation things. So this replaces all of those.
2-part question.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this will be on the website at
Yes.
some point. And how will we make patrons aware of the fine-free?
Well, we are already preparing PR marketing pieces for that. I wrote a letter for the Batavian in our section. And Daniel already saw a copy of that before it went out. Kristen has also written an article. It's the King County Chronicle?
A column for the Chronicle.
Yeah.
Press release to go out generally.
Right. And that also talks about us going fine-free. We will have social media posts, signage in the library, various ways that we're going to communicate how fine-free works. And that we will be starting this on July 1st. Anything else you can think of you want to add?
We've been working to update the website.
Right.
And write a little brief statement about finding free for the website. Kristen and I are preparing for signage in the library, maybe even a bookmark with a QR code that will link to the website page that has all that information.
So we do have a plan put in place.
Okay, great.
The tweaks look nice in here.
Thank you, Stephanie.
One spelling error. Which I will.
On page 27 in D, the second sentence, regular borrowing, overdue and lost damage policies apply, and instead of school district, would it really be better to do organization because it says school or daycare?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then a little bit further down, expire on August 15th and must be renewed with official notice from the school district of the school librarian's employment. Maybe there you could just say organizations designee.
Instead of school district?
Yeah, just to be more
Okay.
inclusive there.
Okay.
And one other tiny tweak, just if you did the individual teachers right in the middle of the paragraph, if you started that as a new paragraph, I think that might just help a little bit.
What is that? Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
Any other questions or comments? Well, I know last time we all liked how concise it was and put together and all in one place. So if there's no other questions, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the general use policy?
I would like-
I move that we approve the general policy as amended.
And I second.
Okay, so a motion by trustee Larson and a second by trustee Ford. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the general use policy is approved as amended. Okay, number 8, financial reports for May 2024.
So on page 31 is our working budget for 24 as of the end of May of 2024. And we're on target for pretty much everything. We have underspent in our database subscriptions, but I was talking with Don, we figured that some of those subscriptions are actually, that we have bills for, are for the following fiscal year period. So we're not paying them this fiscal year, we're paying them next fiscal year. So we're just a little off, but that will right itself in the fiscal year coming up. So it does look like we're below, but it's not that we've really cut anything or changed anything drastically. We just have timed it slightly differently so that it coincides with the year that it's actually active. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's see. With personnel expenses, which is always the biggest part of our budget, we're at just under 84% with 1 month remaining, so that's a very good place to be. We'll definitely be under at the end of June. And, we did have quite a few retirements, and with retirement, you have to pay out all of your accumulated vacation. So it's, like they have a big chunk of vacation time coming, so it kind of hits you hard, but we're still in good shape. Let's see. Those are the only things I really wanted to highlight. I know that Don and I have been talking about, and this is going to come up when we talk about my goals for next year, is we kind of want to redo how we present the budget and how we present the financial statements so that there's more clarity and just kind of restructure it a little bit. So the numbers will all be the same, it's just that how we see it will look a little different. I think it'll clarify it.
And larger type.
Yeah, and larger type. So that's something that we're going to be working on. And it's going to require restructuring, kind of like for instance, in operating expenses. We haven't decided how we're going to do it, but instead of having all of these things under operating expenses, perhaps have a separate category for programming. And that can include programming for youth, programming for adults, programming for teen, family programs, as well as, like community reads or any kind of reading program initiatives that we do. And then separate that from operating expenses, because in my mind, operating expenses is more of the nuts and bolts of things and the core of what we do, besides the staff who run it, is the programming and the materials. So I'd like to have those separated out. So that's just something that we haven't really hashed out completely, but we're gonna be working on in the next couple of months. Any questions about that? Or any of the finances? Also, so if you go on page 34, currently we have just under 4 million in special reserves. And we anticipate, oh my gosh, you're gonna have to remind me, Don, what was our number that we anticipate transferring to special reserves? It's like,
It was, I think, about $1,045,000, something like that.
and
It
that's
could
gonna
be more than that.
right, so it'll be over $1 million to go into special reserves for our remodeling project. And in fiscal year '25, our anticipated transfer into special reserves is $750,000. So, and of course, with the idea that we'll be able to use that money for big capital improvements and remodeling.
Great. That's really nice to hear.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments about financials? Then number 10, President's Report and comments from the board. Does anyone have anything to share?
Statistics.
Number 9, statistics.
I'll be fast. So, looking on page 35 of your packet, we're at the patron count for the past 13 months. And so if you look at May 2023, it's 12,147. So go up to May of 2024, we've increased by over almost, well, about over 3,000, almost 4,000 additional patrons visiting the library. So that's a nice increase. And we hope to see that continue. Then our circulation rates on the next page, not any real big surprises there. Fiction is still our biggest circulating item, print fiction, followed by nonfiction with adults. With teens, their biggest thing is fiction. And then with kids, it's all over the place. But picture books are probably the most popular print material that circulates, followed by nonfiction, and then easy readers and youth, juvenile fiction, kind of tied for a third place. But a total number of print items that circulated is 274,724. Between adult, other, which is, I'm not sure what deposit collection is.
That's a Stephanie question.
I'm sorry, I missed that. We were trying to figure out what time frame we were looking at.
Okay.
What is deposit collection?
Deposit collection, that is when we take books off-site to like rack at the track. So it's a very small percentage. We take a couple hundred every couple of months.
Okay. So I'm not sure, is this for 11-month period, or is this just for the month of May?
It's for the fiscal.
It's from July of 2023 through May of 2024. So that's the total for those 11 months, 274,724. That would be a very impressive monthly rate. I'm not sure we would have enough material to accommodate that. I know. Okay, so then the circulation rates again with electronic materials. The biggest thing to circulate being electronic books from eMedia Library, and then followed by audiobooks, downloadable audiobooks from eMedia Library, and then Hoopla and electronic magazines. Quite a bit lower numbers than that, but the next highest. So we do get quite a bit of electronic material use from patrons. And it's increased by 1,385 since July of 2023. So that's also been slowly, steadily rising and increasing in use. So that's good. Circulation rates, other than non-print by department. So DVDs continue to be the most popular. DVD and Blu-ray combined is about 49,185, and this again is for the fiscal year starting in July of 23. Followed by children's DVDs, CDs, compact CDs for adults, video games for children is at just under 6,000, and then audiobook CDs for adults is about 4,000 a year. Video games for adults is just under 4,000. And then our hotspots, by the time the fiscal year's over, will probably hit 800 or more circulations in a year. So those are continued. They will get more of those, and they're very popular, especially in summer when people want to go on vacation to remote areas and there's no Wi-Fi.
Or just traveling in the car road trips.
Yeah, so, and arcade pans, 76 of them circulated in the last 11 months, so they're still getting used.
My kiddos like 6 or 7 of those.
So, any questions about that?
Numbers look good.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right, now, does anyone have comments to share?
Yes,
I thought the friends might.
I can find it. Friends of the Library, we met end of May, and we won't be meeting again until the end of August. But they're going to have an educator sale August 3rd, and they'll be at the farmers market in September 21st. They also got an award from the Mid-Valley Special Education Project that was for their books are alphabetized by last name in the Friends of the Library. And somebody has taken it on as being his pet project. So he will go and buy, letter and alphabetize and stuff. They were proud of that.
Sure.
All media will be for future sales for $1, and they also got new computers from it that we donated because Andrew and we bought new computers, so they got our hand-me-downs. So they're happy about that too. Oh, okay, so they have this, Lisa asked or requested from the Friends that we have a little kitchen, and it's a refrigerator, a range, and a sink.
A thick wood, durable wood.
Built like a tank.
None of that plastic stuff.
Here's the bigger pictures of them. But they're very cute, and then I saw this farm stand. So, have they arrived yet?
They have, but we are waiting until August to put them out because they're going to take some reinforcing so nothing tips over on anybody. So after summer reading. Okay. Stay tuned. But thank you, friends.
So they had a very generous donation for the youth. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you.
So would Friends be open to another computer donation when I upgrade from 10 to 11, which I absolutely don't want to do, but will be doing anyway? No?
No.
Okay.
But thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments from the board? One thing I'll just share with you, and I'm sure Joe is going to talk more about this, but for our strategic plan work, the planning committee has met, and just this weekend it was a really great group, very enthusiastic, and probably what people most need to know about is that there will be a community survey coming out with lots of advertising and probably bookmarks and barcodes to get to the survey, and that'll be coming out in time for the July Friends book sale. So people can be looking forward to that. But it'll be a real nice chance for people to share their ideas with the library and for us then to use that feedback in the future. So, number 11, directors and librarians reports.
So, off of what Daniel was saying about this strategic plan, I met with Cindy Fessmeyer of Fast Forward Libraries, and we reviewed the engagement plan, and I put the small team of staff together. We put a strategic planning committee together that Daniel is also on. But then she also asked us to put together what's called a community mapping or a community engagement group. And as a complement to the community survey, this team of about 5 staff people will help create a rich and diverse pool of community members to engage in 5 in-person community focus groups that will happen in early September and 8 virtual one-on-one interviews in July. And so the idea behind this community mapping group is that they're going to target community organizations, community members, and come up with ways of reaching some of those underused audiences in Batavia to reach out to them and interview them for our strategic planning.
Audiences who typically may not be using the library.
Correct, right. So if we reach out to some of these community organizations we would like to partner with, not people we've already established a relationship with necessarily, but that then with those, making those connections, reaching out to them, we might be able to bring in some people to complete surveys or interviews and give us some good feedback as non-library users and how they might use the library in the future. So there, I forget when our scheduled meeting is for that. I'm not even sure if we've scheduled it yet, but they just meet once for 90 minutes, brainstorm, share this form that they fill out with ideas. And then from there, I will, once we've looked at this list and kind of standardized it, then I will be reaching out to these organizations and individuals, asking them to participate with the help of Fast Forward Libraries. Okay. So members of this community mapping committee are Missy Jump, who does a lot of our outreach, Shelby Cunningham in circulation. She's a longtime Batavia resident and a longtime employee here at the library. She knows a lot of people in Batavia. And Roseanne Freund in ATS. She's our local history specialist and has been a long-term employee here at the library. Jolene Baddick, am I saying that right? Sorry. Jolene's also been a longtime employee here, has a lot of connections in the community, and then of course our Kathy Moker, who has also a long history with the community and the library itself. So they will be, and I myself, I will be part of this. We'll be working with Fast Forward Libraries, creating that bit of the strategic plan. Now, with the survey that's coming out in July, there was talk, I was not at the meeting yesterday, but I know it was talked about extending how long the survey was available so that it would capture some of those back to school, end of summer, beginning of school year. There was, I believe that came up as a discussion,
Right.
And Fast Forward Library said that would be fine. We could leave it out and available longer than they had originally
Right.
planned. So there'll be plenty of opportunity to get people to participate in those surveys. Excuse me. So that's kind of where we're at. We're moving forward. I think it'll be completed by end of January, but certainly no later than the beginning of February. We should be in good shape. So it's exciting. Okay, sorry. And then, so one other thing is we did some out and about stuff. Misty, Shelby, and I were at the Mercy Housing Batavia Apartments event on Saturday, June 8th. We were signing people up for library cards as well as summer reading. And there were well over 100 people at this event. And we had lots of fun stuff to give away. We talked to a lot of people, so it was good. And I've also signed up to volunteer for the 2024 Windmill City Fest on July 12th.
Good for you.
So I'll be working the beer tent, and I have to take some training courses and stuff before
Yes, you do.
And it'll be hot.
I'll be carding all of you if you
Looking forward to it.
Great.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'll have to dress in traditional German outfit or something. Anyway, it should be fun. And then I'm doing that through the Chamber of Commerce. Okay. So when you go, oh, sorry, before we go into closed session details. Some updates about staff. We have a new youth services associate. Her name is Kelsey Harrison, and yes, she is related to Sherry Harrison. Sherry, our assistant manager in circulation, and Kelsey is going to be in the youth department. Let's see, status change. Kathy Fechner is now a substitute in youth services. She used to be a regular employee, but now she's a sub. And then we've had some anniversaries. The biggest one was Astrid at 16 years. Kristen's been here 2. Ellie Carter is in circulation. She has been here a year. And then, of course, myself, 1 year. Excuse me. So when you go into closed session, you're going to be reviewing, you're going to be reviewing and approving the minutes from 2 closed sessions from the last 6 months. And that's November 21st, 2023 and May 21st, 2024. I have copies of those minutes. We'll pass them out during closed session. And so then once you come back out of closed session, you can make a motion to approve those minutes if that's what the board decides when they're in closed session. And then the other part of that is that you have to decide if those minutes that you approve are going to remain closed. And then in addition to that, there are recordings from closed sessions that are over 18 months old, and you will decide whether or not to you can make a motion to destroy those minutes, because once those recordings are over 18 months old, they can be destroyed. You don't have to keep them forever. There's lots of layers. So you're going to just be reviewing this, discussing in closed session, and then when you come out of closed session, you can make a motion to do those 3 steps. Okay? That's all I really have. Oh, the list of those closed session minutes are on page 5 to refer to when we're in that. And now I'm going to turn it over to Liesl.
All right, I was going to say, I noticed I was first in the board packet of librarian reports. Yay! We always get last because we're the wise. But anyway, I digress. Well, very colorful report this month. We like to tell our story in pictures. We visited so many schools and so many students, over 2,200 between Amy and Allison. So they did an outstanding job. I think Joe touched on this last month. Wonderful video that Amy put together with the help of Hans Kaiser and Kristen Zambo. If you haven't seen it, I'd encourage you to check out the link. It's a lot of fun, and it's only a couple minutes long, and very clever, very engaging. We kicked off the Summer Reading Club on May 24th, and we had more than 800 kids registered by the end of the month, much to my shock, which is amazing. And we are on track with numbers pretty comparable to last year this time. So we're doing well there. Lots of enthusiasm, lots of energy down there.
That's an understatement.
Yes, for sure. But we love that. We love that. We had lots of fun moving things around in youth services in the month of May. I shared some pictures with you. Again, to truly appreciate it, if I'd encourage you to pop down sometime and kind of take a walk around and see what's been going on. The biggest thing was just moving our graphics collection from a tiny little nook to a much bigger space. When you look at it, you're going to think, oh my gosh, did the collection shrink? No, it did not. But publishers are publishing more and more graphic novels, and it is by far one of our most popular collections. So you'll see a lot of open shelves, but that's so that we can display things face out and have room to really put more money into that collection and have it grow. The kids are definitely demanding that, and we want to be right there serving them with more copies. So other than that, not a whole lot to say, just general trying to make the department a little more cozy, more seating spaces and fun things like that. We had a really fun time on May 21st with Public Works. I can't take credit for the program. This is something that predates my time here, but we had the assistant city engineer, Andrea Pedraza, come visit us, and she read a story with the kids. But of course, the highlight is always trooping out to the circular drive downstairs and checking out the truck. And despite it being very hot and lots of little people, they were sure patient for their turn. And the pictures don't even do it justice. They were really having a lot of fun with it. So we're grateful to the city to partner with us on that, and we're looking to partner with some other departments, perhaps police and fire, coming up in this next fiscal year. All right.
What is a graphic novel? I'm sorry.
Oh, yes. It's a fancy way of saying a comic book, basically. But instead of just being individual volumes, it's all together and tells a story from start to finish.
Okay.
And they're for all ages, because there's
Yes.
adult graphic novels, children, teenagers, you name it.
And thank you for asking.
Fiction.
They're very popular.
There are movies based on graphic novels.
And classics is a great way for those of us who
Yeah.
are not like, woo, classics, to get the general idea. Exactly.
Or even like the Babysitter's Club is all being re-released as graphic novels and stuff like that.
And they're wildly popular.
And so now we've got Megan.
So now it's my turn to say
Sorry, Megan.
basically what Lisa said. It is nice to see that we're often headed in the same direction. So we had a great month in May as well with a couple big events. Our biggest one being the volunteer fair. Honestly, I think the numbers are bigger than we were able to document. We had 37 organizations here from Batavia and surrounding communities, and had from 2 to 7 people were able to come in to find volunteer opportunities and connect with these groups. We counted at least 147 people. Based on every time I was in that room, I really think it was hard for us to capture the full number. I mean, I would say it was well above that really, but that is what we have proven to at least hit. So that was a great event, and then Misty actually went around and interviewed each organization during it, so we've been able to roll out like a few a week of all the different.
2 a week until we've exhausted all of them. So
Yeah.
that should take us into at least August.
Yeah, so it was a really great partnership with a ton of groups in the area. It seemed to be a big hit with the community, so we're hoping to do that again next year. We're currently in talks with the Chamber of Commerce to find a date that works for everyone to do that again. We also had summer reading kickoff, and as of just before this meeting, I was happy to see that we have actually already surpassed our registration numbers for adults and teens for the full program of last year already by the state. So we're off to a great start, and we hope to see it continue to grow. And we had some school visits. So Mallory Manning was able to get out to the high school and the middle school, and between the 2 visits, she was able to interact with 444 students. So we were excited to be able to get into the schools and have a big connection there. And we've also been working on our space and our collections here a lot. Our adult librarian, Roseanne Freund, actually launched a new genealogy collection. It's in the local history room. It's got new nice shelving thanks to facilities, and it's all getting relabeled to be really clear that it is part of that collection. Genealogy has been popular here for a long time, I believe, and that remains the case. So we're excited to see that there. And we did a shift as well to pull the graphic novels out for adults. We've done that with teen already. We're doing it for adults, and so we took a huge group effort by a lot of people throughout the library to help move a lot of the nonfiction to be in order and get everything moved around and sit really nicely on the shelves and make room for the new graphic novel collection. So it's almost done, but it looks really great. We've also been adding romance stickers to those books, just like we do with science fiction, fantasy, and mystery. Romance is actually the most popular genre nationwide, so it makes sense to have this one be a call-out area for people as well. And last but not least, we've been working really hard to increase our digital offerings. As Joe mentioned, ebooks and audiobooks have been on the rise, and we are working our way through a pretty significant holds list because we really want to meet what people are looking for. So we are getting a lot closer to catching up where that is, and we hope to continue that so that we can get people what they're looking for.
Questions or comments?
I do have one more thing I wanted to share. This is very exciting. We have a fairly new employee in circulation. Her name is Kristen Streepy, and she submitted a recipe to Taste of Home magazine, and it was published. And she just discovered that this happened when she was checking the magazine in. And she's like, oh, look at that. So anyway, it's I have to put my glasses on. It's sriracha marinated skirt steak. So she created this recipe and submitted it, and I thought that was very cool.
Oh, that is cool.
So we, and Missy made a little social media post about it.
She should.
Thank you for your reports. It's so fun to see what the kids especially are doing, but to also hear about all the cooperation and the support from everybody. So thank you for that. All right. It's time for us to adjourn to closed session. There's two reasons we're adjourning to closed session, and one is for the discussion of minutes of meetings lawfully closed under the Act, and the second reason is the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee of the public body. So at this point, we will...
You need a motion to adjourn?
I would think we would.
Yeah.
We'll adjourn, and then we will come back to act on what we talk about in the closed session. So, Mary Ann, was that a...
Adjourn to a closed session.
Thank you, Mary Ann.
Second.
So, a motion by Trustee Fasano and a second by Trustee Hubbard. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we'll adjourn to closed session.
Motion to
This is a grocery store.
Are you ready?
Ready and reporting.
Okay, then I'll call us to order back into open session. And we don't need a roll call or anything. Okay, so then Elizabeth, you have
A motion, I
motion
move.
for us to act on?
Yes, I move that the closed session minutes of November 21st, 2023 and May 21st, 2024 remain closed, and to destroy the closed session recordings from July 19th, 2022 and September 8th, 2022.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
Then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that action then is approved. Thank
Do
you.
the second motion, okay?
And then we have a second item to act on.
I move to approve the executive director's performance appraisal and salary increase as determined in closed session.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Does that need to be a roll call? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No one's opposed. It is approved then. And
What happened to our agenda?
Continuing on our agenda, I'll just remind everyone of the upcoming meetings. The Committee of the Whole on July 11th, 2024 at 6:30, and the regular board meeting minutes, or the regular board meeting will be July 23rd, 2024.
Yeah.
With that, we are adjourned. I'll make the motion to adjourn, and
Second.
a second by Trustee Larson.
I'm
I'm
not.
Trustee Ford. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for staying.
Yeah.